Hey YouTube, Dawson Rider here with a review of Ghost Change Series 04, Robin Hood and Billy the Kid Damashii. So just like with the last release, these are not full-on figures, they're just the coats that go over them. Very quick look at the box like we usually do, nothing spectacular here, just pictures of the toys, some pretty cool, if I can get it up here, pretty cool, you have to tilt your head. In-show suit pics, little pics showing how the jackets work in case you forgot. Robin Hood, Billy the Kid. On the back it just shows some sort of dynamic poses and advertises the rest of the line so far. And look, you can put him on Specter and stuff, but it really doesn't look that different since you can't even do his two horns thing. And then on the bottom, another promotional shot. So, nothing too special, but here you have them. And as I mentioned in my Musashi and Edison review, the coolest thing about these sets is the stands. Each Damashii you get comes with a little stand that you can put the coat on, which is really cool. It's a really neat way of displaying them. You don't just have them lying around if you're not using them. And honestly, it's probably the neatest thing about these releases, which I think I said before, is like simultaneously sad and kind of cool because I like the way of displaying these. It makes for just, well, a cool display. But it's kind of sad that the funnest thing about the gimmick figure this year to me is being able to display the gimmick by themselves. But yeah, there's really not too much to say here. This is how the jacket looks. It looks pretty solid on display. All the colors are there. You got his little face there. The little stand here is just clear with some sort of ghost designs, which kind of reminds you of the monolith. Not from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And then Billy the Kid, same here. Really nothing too special to write home about. I use that phrase a lot, nothing to write home about. Like, who the hell's even writing letters? But yeah, that is them on their own. I think that looks neat to just have them like that. We have Ghost's base body here, so we're just going to go ahead and swap them out. As you saw in the back of the box, you can swap it with Specter, but the only difference you're going to be getting is the undercolors being blue instead, because it's like the same thing. And it would have been neat if they made it a little bit easier to pop these pieces out, and then each one included one horn or two horns for Specter and Ghost, because, well, that just would have made more sense. So basically, just pop it on there. You kind of have to line his head up right. Oh, and you have to press really hard. I didn't mean to do that hard. And make sure that these little things snap on his sides. And then pull these around too, but that can wait. But okay. But yeah, that would have been neat to just include different ones for Specter, because as it is, I mean, it's neat you can use it on both, but there's really no point because it practically looks the same since Ghost and Specter have the same base mold. Alright, so there you have Robin Hood, and then of course he does come with his own accessory here, which is his really cool like crossbow weapon, which has the Gongon Saber combined with the Condor thing, so you got that going on. And he looks okay. I've mentioned in the reviews before that these honestly don't look the greatest to me. They always look a little bit bulky, and you know, you can't really take the helmet off, or the hoodie off. I mean, you can, but it's kind of difficult to get it back on and stuff, and it just doesn't look the greatest. It's just kind of overall bulky and just very okay looking. I do think that the compound look on the faces looks good, so that's at least a nice thing about it, but other than that, they're just kind of meh, which is disappointing because this class of figure, the sort of, you know, action figure line for Rider has been getting better steadily over the course of the years. Okay, now for Billy the Kid. There we go. And flip his little face out, and then snap him on there, and let's not be so violent about it this time, guys. So, snap on, snap off. The snapper. Alright, there you have Billy the Kid before I've done any, he does come with weapons. He has two little weapons here, but I just want to point out that this guy is the same bulkiness, but honestly I think that in terms of this figure, Billy the Kid is one of the better looking ones. I think it's because the hat already makes the form a little bulkier, and he, you know, he really doesn't put the hood down in any of the forms but Main Ghost that I remember. But I think it's just because of the way it looks in the show that this one looks the most normal to me out of any of them. He does include two specified weapons for him, which is the Bat Clock and its little blaster mode here. So you can have that, and then you can have the Gongon Saber from previous release, so you can dual wield, and then like there's going to be a paradox if these touch, but then you also get the combined weapon of the Gongon Saber and the Bat Clock right there, which is in its gun mode. So that's pretty cool. They're all the very basic plastic weapons. They have some like details on them and stuff, which is not focusing on, but you know, they're not the painted figure arts weapons. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, this one, for whatever reason, to me just looks the best of the ones. Even though like Billy the Kid isn't one of my personal favorite forms, I think that among the arms change figures, or the arms change, ghost change figures, he just looks the most normal. Like I said, I think it's because of the hat, but everyone else just looks super bulky. And he still does look bulky, but it just fits in better. And I'm willing to bet like how bulky it is will stand out more when they get to a figure art. But for now, yeah, he just looks the most normal. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Overall, these are just an okay line. Like I've said before, it's kind of a disappointment after the way these lines have been getting pretty much better and had some more fun entries over the years. But the only way I can really recommend it is if you really like the idea of displaying all the Damashii like this, which I think is cool. I can recommend it for people that want to do that. And I really, unless you're super impatient and have to have a figure of your favorite form right now, I would hold out for the figure art. So I can only really recommend it if you like to display the ghost forms like this, because that's at least a neat bonus. But anyway, that's about it. Until next time, make sure you check out the Crazy Podcast, the Crazy Podcast at WritersRangeRambles.com. And of course, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Until next time, Dawson Ryder, signing out.